Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Hope everyone is doing okay. Could somebody put a comment in? Just want to make sure that's working. Otherwise, comments aren't working again on Ecamm, which would be very, very frustrating. So if somebody could have launched that in there for me to see. Otherwise, I have to try to do comments on the old YouTube, which I'm not seeing anything, and normally we have a lot of comments by now. Let me see. Sorry for the delay. All right, let me get to the live stream then. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, we do have comments. Fantastic, but they're Ecamm's not. Ecamm's really ticking me off because of this crap. All right, I'll have to go through here. Sorry, now I got to look at 3 different screens or try to shrink this one up. Oh boy, hold on. Sorry. Let's see if I can shrink this one up over here. All right, here we go. I won't be able to put the comments on the screen, but we'll try to get through this okay. Good morning, Davey. Good morning, Lauren. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, Rams of Fall. Good morning, again, Davey. Yeah, red book, but remember, it did beat a little here, but it's not inflation weighted, so that's not surprising. When it's not inflation weighted and you're running inflation at 9.1 year over year, it's good to get a beat, but that you got to inflation adjust that. Thanks, Vix 2466 pre. Hello, Lauren. Hello, Jacob. Hello, Chris. Hello, Connor. Hello, Eric. Hello, George. Hello, Options 22. Again, we'll try to get through this with the multiple comment windows going now. All right. Let me just try. I'm still trying to adjust this so I can see everything on my screen. Relay it out on the fly. All right. So we already had building permits coming in. The housing stuff was pretty much a meet besides building permits coming miss besides building permits coming in a little stronger than expected. We already covered red book, but that's minor. The only big thing today is Fed Brainerd. So keep that in mind. S&P 500, lots of green this morning pre-market, and we've seen that rally in the European session, still favoring that 75 basis point hike, and still slightly in negative gamma territory, but not a lot. We had some earnings. Johnson Johnson pretty much coming in line. Halliburton a miss and guiding lower. We're starting to see guidance lower. More of it was guidance where that's going, and Alley was a miss. So other than that, I did not look at stuff like Hasbro or anything else, but not a lot of market moving earnings today. Remember, Netflix after the close today. Netflix after the close. Let's just double check right here. So we have, that's the biggie. That's going to be the biggie. I know some of us trade with IB, but that's not going to be market moving. And then remember, tomorrow after is Tesla, which could potentially, so due to its cap weighting, which is another biggie. Let's see who else is here. If you have a time, Q's and NVIDIA, I will get to that. Options, Netflix and Tesla have me nervous. Well, why would they have you nervous, Chris? If you have a trade on in them, you should know where your targets and your stops are, and hopefully your position size correctly, which means you're not taking an excessive amount of risk. All right, sorry for the problems, but if you're new here, please do still consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term subscribers, please come back and leave some comments and like the videos and leave some comments on the technical problems with Ecamm Live. All right, still, I've been essentially, we're up just a little from Friday. Inside bar from yesterday. If I have to err, I'm going with the cycles were choppy to up until they get to the toppy area. Weekly's at the toppy area, but we need a pretty much rollover. By the way, weekly's still against this rotation zone, but I'm really watching that pop into the rotation zone with cycles still having up sideways to up. I mean, cycles are still going up. So air is sideways to up on that. Let's see what the levels. There's a little mini still in play. Here's what I'm watching going on into the open. This is just for the open because this is on a short-term chart, but I am watching this. We have some doubles. So 38.55.75 is the breakdown zone. 38.47.75. So 38.48, 38.44, and 38.40 roughly. That's the little thing into the open. We're into a clear path move to the upside, so keep that in mind. Have to raise this up now. So on a continued rally, if we were stalling against the 75% prior harmonic, 38.72, which formed this potential double. On a break above that, I'm watching for this area, then a break to become, if we sit choppy, to become support and then turn around. If that's going to be upward motion, then I will target 38.90 to 38.97. Above there would be yesterday's highs and then the 39.21. Again, to the downside, we have a fair amount of overnight support in here. So I'll really focus on the first and second targets because this is the breakout zone right there. And then we break down, especially below these lows, 38.35. I'm going to 38.28, then the 50% harmonic. I'm watching for a big support zone in there. If you go into disaster mode would be all the way back to 38.11, then 38.100. Not expecting disaster mode unless we get some shocking headline or something else. The Fed speak isn't even until this afternoon. NASDAQ looks like it's trying to break above this. This is still a potential double top right here. So that, again, unless we blow that out before this live stream, that's what I'm watching going into the open. 11.981. 11.958, 11.948, 11.934 to the upside. A clear path move. Your breakdown zone, 12,107. So I'm just target 12,000 to about 12,120 right in this area on a breakout. Now remember, if we have a slow break, I'm watching for a retest of this breakout area, then for a rotation back up. If we have momentum, then I'll go with the momentum to the upside. Above the 12,120 area, then highs from yesterday, 12,120, 12,176 to 12,2. And that's right up in this 50 exponential. So that's key. Up in this is very toppy. If we were to blow through that, I'll just give you the targets now. 12,320, then major clusters 12,426, not necessarily for today. And by the way, back to the S&P, if we blow through this area, my major target is 39.50, which was the highs back at June 28th with the declining 50. Dow, again, inside area, same pattern. You know, same pattern going into the open. There you go. 31,773, 31,116, 31,887, 31,58 to the upside. Not as strong a clear path move. You can see it a bit here. It's stronger on the 1 hour, but there's some topping areas. So I need it really to get above 31.3, and then I'll target 31.431, and that target's done. Then it would be to to the highs yesterday around 31.585. Don't get overly bearish until we get below 31.038. What's interesting is if you get below bearish, then my next major target, if we really break down, is 30,768 because we're into a clear path move back down. Not expecting that with cycles where they are, but you got to be prepared for both things. See, cycles and everything still have room to run to the upside. Russell, my target area is 1770 and then about 1780 to 1782. I'm just going to blow through this quick so I can get some other things people want to see. 1733 is my major support. DAX could be triggering this double today. This would be a front run, but I'd watch it need to close. So if you're going to break above this intraday and retest it, it could be an advanced entry. But if it does not close above 13,005, there is no, it's already confirmed, but it's not triggered. And I'd actually lower the stop raise area based off this price action and that harmonic to about 13,247 in front of that 13,304. Be a little cautious on that stop raise. But cycles are running up, still have a little ways to go on the DAX. And you see here, especially with that target, you see here on the weekly, that's why I lowered the target too. Weekly cycles still have some room to run up also. Let's check the comments real quick. We need to place bets on Netflix over under 10% down. I'd have to look at the options, what they're pricing in. You want Apple, Lauren? Good morning, Anissa. Hey, Christoph. Well, I actually look. I thought I looked like one of those fractal patterns. Netflix is a. You're a buy for everything, Tom. Tom. Can we do the SPY? We'll get into that. Let's knock out Tesla real quick. Tesla, remember earnings tomorrow, still on a rally, 751 to 753. If you did break through that on a strong Tesla day, 772 is the next target. Breakdown area is, I'm going to be watching, it's still gapping within yesterday's bar. So if we roll over, it would be the gap fill play. Then my key support's about 709 and then 687. So Tesla in boring sideways motion. Let's check the Qs. Then we'll get to crude and stuff. The Qs, I know people want the Qs and the spiders. Again, if I help you out, you can always consider a donation or a super chat with the channel if I cover something that does help you. Q's gap up. Nothing's really changed in this. We're at 292. I mean, you're going to still, if you trigger those doubles on the open, then I'd be watching for the gap fill, and I'm talking on the futures. I'd be watching for that gap fill play, which would be, before that, I'd rewatch this about 290.38, and then the full gap fill play would be down to 289.41. Right now, we're sitting above the 75 harmonic into this clear path move, at least on the 1 hour, and you see it on the 15-minute. So even on a slight pullback into the open, you can watch this little area on it. If it does get a slight pullback in the open, you see this base from back on Friday, which stalled out there yesterday, and now we're back above there. So before that gap fill, this would be my key area. I've been watching for a hold and a rotation back up. Now you are in that clear path move, and the 87.5 harmonic has to be the breakdown zone because it is, and it's a harmonic. So 294.60 area, and then it would be back to the highs. So that's pretty nice on the Qs. You got pretty good trading action to read in there. Just longer term, you break above this 290.58 area. It technically, we could go to here, just revise it. It's not going to revise that much. But your next major target on a run through, if we can get a move going with this gap area, keep that in mind, 299.28 to 317. So that's your targets if it does get the breakout move. Spiders. Spiders, come on, spiders. Come on, spiders. 386. Again, you could easily see 390 today with any bullish move. But we have to analyze both sides. You can't just look at stuff through blinders. Now, you have the prior harmonic at 384.85, and that's your breakdown zone. I'm not even going to put the line there because it's just going to cover that harmonic. So that's where I'll be watching on a pullback for support. You start breaking below that. We got to get that back down to this 15-minute. Your only next support level is about 380, 350, and then it would be to the gap fill to the downside. 382. To the upside, you have an advanced clear path move. The harmonic is right at the breakdown zone, that 75% harmonic, 387.63. You get through there. Minor at 388.67, but that's where I'd start targeting. We've already filled that gap. So then I'll just target, my next major target would be the 87.5% harmonic. Remember, we did close above the 62.5, and that has not been invalidated. And that should mean statistically we should hit 390.40. So there's all your upside and downside targets. Remember, cycle's still running up, so I'm still favoring upside price action to choppy to upside for the next few days. Crude came back really nice. First target hit, getting that pullback move in crude, but that's just raising stop levels. So raising stop levels on crude below, on a closing basis below 94.20 takes the trade off the table. A spike below 93 takes the trade off the table. But this is just an ordinary pullback on this head and shoulders at this point. So we're getting the pullback in that. We're getting the pullback, little toppy pattern right here, little double top. You can see it on the 4 hour really nicely. The pullback pattern after the natural gas got to the first. So I'm just watching for the next rotation back up, getting out of this overbought conditions. Notes, still, I'm actually starting to watch where it's sitting there for the potential little breakdown play to retest this 117.18, and still that does not invalidate the right hand shoulder longer term. But nothing's changed for the last few days. We're still in this consolidation. Breakout 118.13, breakdown 118.05, then I'm targeting this 117.19, and I'm leading towards the breakdown. Dollar index still pulling back into this key area. Just keep in mind, we're still a long ways off the weekly rotation zone. I'm watching for a little minor bounce play unless we unless we break down below 106.23. Then I'm starting to target this area back around roughly to 105 before the next little bounce, especially with weekly cycles at the top and now rolling over. But daily cycles, we'll start watching. This is where it's key. If we break down below here, we still have a little more ways to run on the daily cycles. That's where I watch that 105 level before a turn up on the daily, another little push up, then probably a more substantial rollover. We got the VIX move. If pre-market, what would we have for the VIX before? Then I'll get to your Apples and your Nvidias. 2466, that's roughly where it is now. I start getting more bullish if it breaks below this 2410 to 24 area. Right now, this isn't getting us much information. I shift into more bearish mode. You get above 2610. Nvidia, they're going to have that vote today. That vote passes the House. You could see, I mean, Nvidia, nothing's changed. It hit the first target on the double. We've pulled up back. Pre-market, if we have a little pullback in the pre-market, it would be for the gap fill. The gap fill would be to 157.63, and I'd watch. You got a pretty decent support in that area after the gap fill. But running up, I mean, now if you're playing something intraday, it would be back to this on strength, especially in the NASDAQ. You got that bill coming through. If that passes 168.20, then back to 172. If the bill passes, you could easily see that. And that's my major top area, because the final top passes through there. So this would be the area I definitely reduce a more than a substantial amount of the position from my perspective, especially with 4 hour cycles at the top. Daily cycles could still run, and also on the daily you have that 50 EMA and this prior topping area right at that area, so that 172 is the major target. Apple, don't have a great long-term pattern yet. If it breaks essentially below about 146.40, I'm going to be targeting this open area with the bottom of the rotation zone, which is coming in, and you have some significance right down there. I'm going to show you why. This high, this gap through this level, this gap down open, then it trades to that level pretty aggressively. The spike high, moving through that, retesting that level, and then this key gap down open. So 140.20 with the bottom of the 1 hour rotation zone, that's your breakdown play for Apple. If it does run up, I'm watching for, I mean, if we bounce in the NASDAQ. This will run a bit. But you have, let's see here. You're into a clear path move, but again, unless it can get above 148.75, I'm not looking for anything much to the bullish side. It's got to get above this. And remember, that it was essentially their pre-guidance, cutting, hiring, and scaling back in certain key areas of their business. So there's some pretty substantial resistance at 148.75, 148.80. There's your Apple, Lauren. But to more side, I'm walking for a potential bigger pattern setting up. What it would be a great pattern here would be we get a little move down, roll up. We got earnings next week, and then a possible head and shoulders topping pattern here. But you know, everything does not have to be a daily play. That's another thing I want to stress. You don't have to find something. There's certain days. It's like I said, in certain stocks with earnings, there just aren't plays. If I can't find a play, for me, there's nothing. I go next because there isn't always a play. So keep that in mind. By the way, the yen, I'm keeping an eye on this again. It's starting to get some upward pressure in the JGBs, the Japanese government bonds, and we're coming back down off the key harmonic cluster. So, and that was a pretty major one right there. So I'm going to see where this pulls back to, but now my support is here, and I'm keeping a close eye on those JGBs again. Bitcoin, still stalling out here. Major overhead resistance, 233, 380, 233, 400. It's got to get a close above there before then the pop would be to 25,000 before the next rollover play. Let's take a look at this. From Christoph, LIN triggered a nice 4-hour double bottom. Yeah, and it is up pre-market. Again, being against your longer-term rotation zones, it's even a daily double bottom. This was a confirmation, but a not trigger. But you can see it here on your 4-hour. Yes, still completely valid. Yesterday it did trigger on the 4-hour, and you still have this gap play behind. So this could be an interesting little runner. That thank you very much on LIN for putting that out there. I would not ignore this first target though, because you have the open, not the full gap fill, but you have this key gap open right here, right by that first target with the daily rotation zone. And this is going against the daily rotation zone, so it is slightly lower probability. So I would definitely be aggressive on moving up that stop, especially with cycles at the top. There we go. There we go. All right. See, it's fractal, Mike. I look like a big fractal today. So, I think we've covered everything. Let me just peek in there. I covered everything of major importance. Let me just check to make sure these potential doubles. This might be off the table, running pre-market. So, right now, key thing I'd be watching if it does trade lower. This was the resistance area becoming support with the rising 15-minute rotation zone. So on any pullback into the open, I'm going to be watching this area for a pullback and a hold. Unless we get the momentum, 38.90. With that, again, thank you for bearing with me through some technical issues. Now, where did that window go? Oh, boy. Hold on. There we go. All right. Thanks for Tough Mama JGBs. Yes, those JGBs, but when they crack, it's going to get messy. The Japanese government bonds that they keep trying to peg to 0.25%. So, all right. Thank you for being here. Sorry I couldn't put up the comments. I'm going to reach out to Ecamm and find out what's going on, and I will chat with everyone later today. Bye for now.